smell of fresh coffee and the faint buzz of chatter filled the air of Fairmont Industries that morning, but beneath the polished surface of the corporate world, something far uglier was brewing. In the middle of the bright, modern office, an elderly woman was on her knees scrubbing the floor. Her hands trembled as she worked the brush, the soapy water splashing against her wrists. Around her, a group of young professionals stood in a loose circle, not with concern or empathy, but with laughter. One man leaned forward, tipping a cup so water spilled deliberately in front of her, making her task harder. Another pointed, grinning, while the rest chuckled as if this was some sort of entertainment. The woman's face betrayed both hurt and exhaustion, but she didn't speak. She simply kept scrubbing, each stroke of the brush heavier than the last, each second a reminder of how cruel people could be when they thought no one important was watching. No one knew the truth. She wasn't just a cleaner brought in by an agency for the week. She was Margaret Fairmont, the mother of the company's CEO, Daniel Fairmont. And she was there because Daniel had decided to put his people to a test that no training session or performance review could ever match. For weeks, Daniel had been growing uneasy. His company was thriving financially, but he had started hearing whispers, stories of staff treating support workers with indifference, impatience, even outright disrespect. The janitorial staff, the security guards, the catering crew, to most executives, these were invisible people. To Daniel, they were the backbone of the business. And he wanted to know the truth, whether kindness still existed within his walls or whether success had made his people arrogant. That's when the idea came to him. If he sent someone he trusted deeply, someone who would never reveal the truth, he could see who his employees truly were when no one was watching. There was only one person he trusted completely, his mother. Margaret had spent her younger years cleaning homes, offices, and restaurants so her son could stay in school. She had endured sneers, condescending comments, and countless moments when people treated her as if she didn't matter. She had thick skin, but even so, Daniel knew this task would be hard. She agreed without hesitation, because she knew this was about more than just one company. On her first day, the patterns were clear. Some employees greeted her with a polite "good morning." Others didn't even glance up. A few acted as if she were part of the furniture, there to clean their mess without acknowledgement. And then there were those whose cruelty seemed deliberate. They left trash on the floor for her to pick up, sighed impatiently if she was in their way, or made jokes about old people still working. But Margaret also saw glimpses of humanity. A young receptionist once brought her a cup of tea during a rainy afternoon. An intern offered to help carry her cleaning supplies when she noticed Margaret's arms shaking. There were small acts of kindness scattered among the indifference and arrogance, like little candles in the dark. Then came the morning that would change everything. Margaret was mopping near the break area when a group of employees noticed her. One of them smirked and whispered something that made the others burst out laughing. Another pretended to trip over her mop and exaggerated the stumble to make everyone laugh louder. And then, the cruelest of them all, decided to add to the fun. He tipped a paper cup, letting water spill onto the floor she had just cleaned. Her eyes burned not from anger, but from the humiliation of it. She kept her head down, trying to finish the task quickly, but every laugh felt like a slap. What they didn't know was that Daniel was watching, live through the office's security cameras. He had been checking the feeds regularly, and when he saw what was happening, his stomach turned. This was no longer just a test. This was a moment that demanded action. Within an hour, every employee in the building was called to the main conference hall. The mood was confused, people whispered, wondering what the meeting was about. On the stage stood Daniel, his jaw set, and beside him, the cleaner they had seen all week. Only now, she wasn't holding a mop. "This woman," Daniel began, his voice steady but charged with emotion, "has been working here for the past week. Some of you spoke to her politely, some ignored her, and some treated her with open disrespect. You thought she was just here to clean up after you, but you were wrong." The room was silent, the air felt heavy. "She is my mother," Daniel continued. "The woman who worked day and night cleaning offices and homes so I could go to school, so I could build a life and a company. She is the reason I stand here today, and I asked her to come here as a cleaner to see the truth about the people I've hired." Gasps rippled through the crowd. A few people shifted uncomfortably, avoiding his gaze. The ones who had laughed earlier that day looked pale. "I want to be clear," Daniel said, his tone sharp. "This company is not just about profit. It is about people. Every single person in this building matters, from the executive in the corner office to the cleaner in the hallway. If you can't understand that, you don't belong here." He paused, letting his words settle in. "To those of you who treated her with kindness, thank you. You have shown the values I want this company to stand for. To those who failed, consider this your warning. Some of you won't get another chance." The employees who had mocked Margaret were disciplined, some removed from the company entirely. But more than that, a shift began. People started greeting the cleaning staff by name. Doors were held open. Break room conversations included everyone, not just those in suits. The culture began to change, not because of a policy, but because everyone had seen how quickly the invisible could become the most important person in the room. That evening, Daniel walked his mother out of the building. She looked at him with a tired smile. "I think they understand now," she said softly. "I hope they do," he replied, "because the way you treat people when you think no one's watching, that's who you really are." And from that day on, in Fairmont Industries, no one ever forgot that lesson.